Yo, welcome back people. You don't know it's the King Boss. In this one, I'm going to be looking at Wondershare Filmora X. Some people just say Filmora 10. It is a very cheap, very good video editing software that I use. I'm going to give you an overview, stroke mini review, and do a basic comparison to stuff like Premiere Pro. All right, let's jump into this one. Okay, so firstly again, what is Filmora 10? Filmora 10 is a very simple, very quick video editing software. It's very cheap as well, cost about £50, 60 something US dollars I believe I paid for it. Now, one of their mantras or something on their website was work less, create more. It's very efficient. I do 100% agree with this. I've used quite a few video editors in the past, right? So obviously Filmora 10, I've used Premiere Pro, I've used Movavi a bit, very similar to this one. I've used Cyberlink Power Director, I believe it's called, and I've used DaVinci Resolve. Now, from all of those I've used, Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve are probably up there when it comes to being fully packed with all the features you could possibly need for any project, right? But for a simple video editor like myself that I don't need all those features all the time, I need some of those features very few times, right? So for me, Filmora X works out very good. So it does allow me to work less and create more because the learning curve is so simple. All right, so before I go any further, let me quickly show you guys how to actually go about getting Filmora X. Now, it does offer a free trial as well that you can use all the features there. It does leave a watermark when you export using the free trial. So to get it, you'd simply go to Google, you type in Wondershare, as you can see there. From the search results, I simply went to Filmora Video Editor. They do have two versions. They have Filmora Video Editor, Filmora X, and they also have Filmora Pro. Now, I myself haven't tried Filmora Pro as of yet because Filmora X or version 9 and 10, which I now have been working perfectly fine for me. So I'm gonna go there. If you wanted to download the trial version, you simply click try for free. If you wanted to go ahead and buy it straight away, you go into buy now. But before you do either of those things, I do highly suggest that you click on System Requirements. This is going to give you an overview of the software and hardware requirements for the software you're trying to use, okay? And in this case, it's going to be Filmora X. For example, it tells you that you must have Windows 7, 8, or 10 at 64-bit. You must have at least an i3 processor, 4 gigabytes of RAM, an Intel HD 5000 graphics or later, so on and so forth, okay? So go through this list. Check your manufacturer settings for your laptop, or some of you can go into settings and actually find all this information there. So make sure your system can run this software before you download it, otherwise you're just wasting time. Okay? Now, I won't show how to actually install it because I already have it installed. It's a thing I use on a daily basis. But let me jump now into the program and show you what it looks like and how it works. This is what the program looks like when you first open it. Just a quick disclaimer here. I am actually using Filmora X's built-in screen recorder software, which you can see me highlighting on screen there, to actually record my screen now, to capture my webcam footage, as you can see me waving there. And I'm going to use that same Filmora X software to edit the video. So I might actually go through editing this specific video and showing you guys how I do that. But let's quickly run through some of the main things you will have to use, all right? So typical Windows UI layout, you have file edit tools at the very top there. But let's jump into stuff like media. Media, this is where you're going to import all your videos, your images, and your audio files. As you guys can see, I've got 3 files here already. I've labeled them myself part 1, 2, and 3. These are actually screen recordings of the previous sections of this same video, which I will be editing in Filmora X. Okay, so again, this is my media section. I can simply, okay, what I will do is I will go to my desktop. I will open another thing which I do have working on. So this is a Doom Eternal review I'm working on currently. And what I tend to do, I tend to have the files I'm going to use for a specific project right next to it. And I can simply drag, let me look for a really small one, yeah, 164 megabytes. Yeah, I can simply highlight, drag and drop this into this media section, and it will then show up there, okay? You can do this for videos. Most video types seem to work perfectly fine. You can do this for audio files, and you can do this for images as well. Now, once that populates, this is what it will look like. You'll see the thumbnail with a tiny preview of what the video has inside of it. Okay, so this is for the media tab, right? For the audio tab, you can download sample audio files. I've never actually used any of these before because I simply go to YouTube Studio, then I go to YouTube Audio Library, and I just grab my music from there. So I've never used it, but it's there. You can use it if you really wanted to, but I haven't used it. Titles, okay? Under titles, we should know what this is. If you're editing videos, you should know what titles are. This is essentially the text that comes up on screen, whether it be subtitles or lower third. Some people have, and for example, myself, in this same video, I will have something that says, for example, how to get Filmora X in the previous sections. These are the titles. I mean, they have enough, 276 to be exact, and you can download some free ones from Filmora's website. For example, I have these ones here. Let me just quickly play one of them, show you what that looks like quickly. See if it actually, oh, I had to download it quickly. There we go. See, this is a built-in one, and I don't get to change the video in the background, that green, but I do get to change the text, okay? So the same can be said for the lower thirds. I get to change the text. I can resize those boxes, so on and so forth, okay? There's another one. This is a game one I have as well. So you can download some free ones from their inbuilt app store called Filmstock. Next, we have transitions. Now, this is how we normally go from one video to the next. So if I quickly drag two of these videos onto the timeline, let's just say the Doom Eternal one, and let me zoom out a bit, and let me drag this one on here. Now, I want my video to transitions. I don't want it to simply jump from one video to the next. So I'll choose a transition, and let's use something quite obvious. This one's quite obvious, bar. And when the video plays and it gets to that section, what will start to happen? You guys can see? Yeah, that was a transition there, okay? So this is the section that has all the transitions in there. Now we have effects. I don't really use this tab much unless I'm trying to blur something out. Then they have an effect for that. Again, you can download stuff from Filmstock, and these are the free ones. It comes with 287 included, but again, I don't use these very often. Now we have elements. This is something that people might use a lot. This is just fun stuff you can put on screen to highlight stuff or to be expressive in some way. So that's what this section is. And we have split screen. I've actually never used this section before, but I can see how it could become really useful. If you're trying to edit some really fancy looking video and you wanted it to have a really nice intro of 2 or 3 videos playing at once, that could come out really nice. But again, I've never used it myself. Now let's move on to showing you my general workflow and how I do things in Filmora X. This is very basic, very simple, but I think it's a good starting point for most people. You don't want to be too complex. And I think this is where Filmora for me comes in really handy. So I'm going to delete this and I'll be right back. All right, so we do have other things in the software, obviously, that we can go over. I won't go over everything now. This is going to be just a quick overview. Some stuff down here. Simply move your mouse over each one and it will tell you what it is. So add markers. You can record a voiceover. You can do your audio mixer, so you can increase your volume, decrease it, add effects, so on and so forth. You can take screenshots, so on and so forth, okay? This is the first video of this project, okay? So you guys probably saw me do earlier was right click here, and I do adjust track height, and it was probably set at normal before or big. I don't like it being that big because, to be honest, the timeline is only for dragging stuff onto, leaving the effects on there. I don't really need the timeline itself to be big. So I do right click on any one of these sections here on the left. So this is where you can see these 3 icons. I'm going to right click there, adjust track height, and choose small. I'm going to drag in my very first part of the video, which is that part there. Now it's going to ask you this question the first time you drag something onto the timeline. Because I recorded my videos at full HD, 60 frames per second, I'm going to choose the one that aligns best with that, right? If I choose 1918 by 1078, there's going to be a tiny black bar at the top and a tiny black bar at the sides as well. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do 1920 by 1080 and keep it at 30 frames. And I can actually then still go in and change it to 1920 by 1080 at 60 frames. So for me to do that, I'm going to go to File, Project Settings, and then it has everything else I need. So it's widescreen, so 16 by 9 aspect ratio, full HD resolution. Now this does go up to 4K, and you can have custom resolutions as well, which go past 4K. Resolution's fine. Frame rate 30. I'm going to change this to 60 just because personally I like my project settings to be the same as my export settings will be. So I'll leave it at that. I'm going to click OK, and that changes it. Okay. So now this is my first video. I'm going to play this just to show you guys what's in the video. Okay. Yo, welcome back, people. You don't know it's the King Boss. In this one, I'm going to be looking at Wondershare Filmora X. Some people just say Filmora 10. It is a very cheap, very good video editing software that I use. I'm going to give you an overview, stroke mini review, and do a basic comparison to stuff like Premiere Pro. All right, let's jump into this one. All right, perfect. So first things first, maybe I want to do like a transition that fades the video in. It doesn't just pop in as soon as it starts to play. So I'm going to go to transitions. I'm going to go to where it says fade. I'm going to click on fade, obviously. Now, again, we have 233 transitions on this set thing here, but I like to keep it simple. I'm going to go to fade. I'm going to drag that onto the video, as you can see. So let me show you that again. I click on it to highlight it so that blue line comes around it. I drag it, and as you can see, that tiny box appear on the actual video. That's that thing that you're dragging on going over the video. When I let go, that's it. It's on there. Now, this might be a bit too small to see what's happening properly in the timeline. So what I'm going to do is zoom into the timeline. I can use these buttons here to do it, so minus and plus. But I prefer to just use my keyboard shortcut. It allows me to move a bit quicker. So I'm going to press Control and plus a couple times, and it zooms me in. Now, when I press play, it should then fade in, and you can hear me talking. So, yo, welcome back, people. You don't know it's the King Boss. In this one, I'm going to be looking at one. All right, that sounds fine to me. And next thing I might want to do before I do any more editing is I'm going to double click on my video. I'm going to go up to the audio section here. This video sounds a bit low to me, so I'm going to amplify the audio a bit. Now on the left here, we can see the volumes or the levels, right? Filmora X. And as you can see, it says 0 decibel. So this is just normally whatever you bring in or whatever you record, it comes in as 0. I tend to do with this microphone I'm using about 4 to 6, so let me say about 5. So that audio should be louder. I'm going to also do auto normalization, so that levels the audio out. So whatever peaks there are in volume or drops there are in volume, it tries to bring, like, squash it closer together, okay? And that goes back to 0 actually. So let me put 5 in there again. I'm going to click OK, and this should be noticeably louder now. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to play. Yo, welcome back, people. You don't know it's the King Boss. Yeah, that sounds a lot louder to me. So, all right, that's that part done. Next part is I might want to add a title because people like seeing the text pop up on screen to show what you're actually speaking about. So I'm going to play the video until I get to the section where I say, I don't know, Filmora X or Filmora 10. And when it gets to that section, I'm going to pause it, and then I'm going to add my title there. So let's play this. In this one, I'm going to be looking at Wondershare Filmora X. So there we go. So it's at this point here that I say Filmora X. So I'm going to go to titles. Let's see if I have anything nice in here. So you look at the included ones. I mean, quite basic, but I think I might actually use this one I downloaded. So game intro pack. No, this one. Let's just use a nice simple one. Let's drag this one onto the timeline again. So if I want to use something, I click on it to bring that blue box around it, and I drag it onto the timeline. Now, a good thing about this cutting stroke playhead here is that wherever that is where stuff will snap to automatically, which means if I drag this onto the timeline, see it's moving fluid. It's moving very smoothly along the timeline. Now I can snap it. If I drag it over close to that thing, it will just snap next to it, meaning that's where it will actually start bringing in that thing. So when I play the video from here, Filmora X, some people just say Filmora 10. It is a very cheap, very good video. So you can see that this entire, what's this, a purple rectangular box actually has the thing I want. So again, I'm simply going to resize the track height to small because it looks a bit too big for me on my laptop screen. I'm going to double click on this and it will bring up the editable sections, right? So I can click in here and I can edit, and I can say Filmora X stroke 10. Some people say Filmora X, some say Filmora 10, right? I'm going to move this text over to the left, and I'm actually going to delete this section because might as well show you guys how to do that, right? So to delete it, you can't actually do it from here. When you click delete from here, nothing happens. So with this highlighted, you click advanced, it's going to bring up another window, and here I can edit things in more detail. So I'm going to click on the thing I want to get rid of, which is this part here. I'm going to click on the trash can, gets rid of that. I'm going to resize this box because this box is a bit too large for just the text film Filmora 10. So I'm going to click on it and using the edges, drag that in a bit. Seems alright there. Click on the Filmora X text and put it there. You can use your keys to move this around as well, your arrow keys. That seems about right. And if I play this from here, Filmora X, some people just say Filmora 10. It is a very cheap, very good. There we go. That's it. That's done. Now when I'm finished editing, now I can do quite a few things, but I'm not going to go over everything. I'm going to click OK. And that's my title added, and added exactly how I wanted it. Now you can create your own, but I won't show you guys how to do that in this video. This is just a quick basic overview. Yeah, so I'm done with that. I click OK. The next thing I might want to do is let's play that one more time. Let's see what comes up. Filmora X. Some people just say Filmora 10. It is a very cheap, very good video editing software that I use. I'm going to give you an overview, stroke mini review, and do a basic comparison to stuff like Premiere Pro. All right, let's jump into this one. All right, cool. So I think a good thing to do now would probably be to bring in my second video. So I'm going to cut this video here where I stop speaking. So I simply highlight the video. I can click on this thing here and it will cut it just like that. As you can see, it's been separated now, so I can drag this part away. Let me undo that though. I'm going to use my keyboard shortcuts, right? Keyboard shortcuts when you're video editing come in very, very handy because it might seem like a tiny thing to just move your mouse up, move your mouse up here and click. But if you can, most people already have their hand on the keyboard. So if I can just do Control B in this case, I think that probably just means break or cut. I don't know where they get B from, but that's fine. I'm going to actually press delete on my keyboard now to get rid of this end section here. That's done. I'm going to go back to media. I'm going to drag in part 2. So this is part 2 here. And I'm going to move this back. And where this one stops is where I want this one to start. And it will snap in place because there's something already there. I drag it down, drag it closer, and it snaps in place. Now I am going to, before I start doing anything, double click on this one. Make sure my audio is normalized because I did that for the first one. And then I'm going to also bring my volume up to 5 to match this one here. Okay? Straight away just type 5, press enter, and click OK. Now I'm going to play a small section of this video to see what comes first. Okay, so firstly again, what is Filmora 10? Filmora 10 is a very simple, very quick video editing software. It's very... Alright, fine. I don't think I need to see anymore. I know what this section is about now roughly. But if I zoom in a bit more, or if I make this section actually large, you guys might be able to see that the audio, where is it? Let's play this part again. Jump into this one. Okay, so right, so the audio at this section here doesn't start playing straight away. So let me zoom in a bit more. What I can do to actually make this look or sound a bit more seamless is to add a transition and cut a section of this. So I'm going to move my cursor back a bit. There seems about all right. I'm going to do Control B again. Click on this section I don't want, and I'm going to delete it. Now I'm going to also add a transition, a decent one, something simple again, maybe just this bar one. I do like that one for some reason. Drag that on, and as you can see, it's now in the middle of both of these. So when the video plays to that section again, this is what will happen. Let's jump into this one. Okay, so not very obvious that it's happening because the same thing is on the second screen, but that's fine. Okay, so that's it. I've added my transition. I can zoom out again and I can go ahead and add maybe a title for this section. What was this section about again? Firstly, again, what is Filmora 10? All right, so I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to make this small. So right click, adjust track height and make small. I'm going to add my title, and this title, I can actually copy and paste this same one because it already has all the settings I want. So the text size is a decent size. The box behind it is a decent size as well. I'm going to click on it, copy it, and because I want it to be on this, let's say, row here, I'm going to click on that row on the left hand side to highlight it, and I want it to start somewhere here. I can always move it around later on, so I'm going to paste, and the shortcut for paste is simply Control and V for Victor. Paste it there. I'm going to make sure it snaps onto that. I'm going to double click into it, and where it says Filmora X, I'm going to type in front of it, what is? Put the question sign at the end, and that seems a bit cramped to me, so what I might actually stretch the box a bit and move this into the middle, somewhere into the middle anyway. Yeah, and that's it. I have my second title there, so let me play from just before the transition by Premiere Pro. All right, let's jump into this one. Okay, so firstly again, what is Filmora 10? And actually, I don't want it to start, I don't want the text to come in straight away. I want it to come in probably where I say what is, and then it comes in. So let me play that again and find out where that is. I'm going to stop the video there and move that title to where that section is, to this one. Okay, so firstly again, what is? So what is roughly there seems all right. So, all right, let's jump into this one. Okay, so firstly again, what is Filmora 10? Filmora 10 is a very simple, very cool. Yeah, I think that's fine. So that's generally how I add my stuff in, and that's my workflow. That's my general basic workflow. I can add elements and transition and effects, but once you guys know how to add titles and effects or transitions, it's the same for everything else. You simply drag it onto the timeline. Some things go into the videos, like the transitions themselves, they go into the videos like this. The titles go on top of the videos like this one here, right? And so something like effects go on top of the video as well. All right, but that's generally how I use Filmora. It has loads more features, but most people want to drag stuff onto the timeline, cut, paste, add text, add effects, add transitions, and then export. So my general thoughts on Filmora X or Filmora 10. The good, let's talk about the good first, right? I've said it many times in this video, it is very, very simple to get into. I've used quite a few others, but this is the first one that I've dived into, and it just made sense straight away. The learning curve was very easy to follow. That's number one. Number two, it's cheap. I mean, Premiere Pro, well, the Adobe suite of software, £20 a month for like one or two pieces of software. And if you want the full package as a non-student, it's like £50 per month. Whereas this software, it's £50, 50-ish pounds for the lifetime membership. So I bought this when it was on Filmora 9. And when Filmora 10 came out, I got the free upgrade. And when Filmora 11 comes out, I'll get the free upgrade then as well. The only thing I have to worry about is when eventually this company shuts down or gets bought by someone else and they change the policy. But until then, perfectly fine. Another good thing, it's very easy to add in transitions, titles, effects, and stuff like that. I have found that, for example, in Premiere Pro, if I have to do something, I first have to go to effects, then go to effect settings, then find the effect I want, then drag it in, then I have to edit the effects. Whereas here, for example, I simply drag my title in, I double click on it, I change what I want to change, I move it around. This just feels easier to me. Another thing I do like is that it does have some decent free downloadable content. Not all of it is great. I've downloaded some before and they've been absolutely horrible, but most of it is all right. It has some nice features built in. For example, if I click on my video there, audio normalization is something I actually used to have to do in Audacity. So what I used to do, I used to have my video, I used to extract the audio, I used to do my normalization and my compression in Audacity, then I used to have to bring that audio back into the software and then mess with it. Whereas here, everything is just, well, compression isn't there, but I can live without compression, I think. But normalization is there. That's the main one I use. It does have some nice advanced features. For example, here you can see color, right? So you can mess with the color. So you drag these dials and sliders along and you can change it to what you want. So I do like that. Even though it is simple, it is powerful enough to get the job done. And by the way, there's this guy on YouTube called Daniel Batal. I'll try and put his YouTube channel below. That guy's tutorials are amazing. Like normally between 3 to 5 minutes ish, shows you what to do, and that's it. He's done. And that's where I actually learned half of the stuff. Well, not half of it, but a good chunk of it I learned from him. He's just very good at explaining stuff, right? So now, the not so good things about Filmora is that it doesn't have as many features, but I guess that's a strength and a weakness. I think because it doesn't have as many features, it's not as slow as something like Premiere Pro. Now, I've filmed and edited 4K videos already. I'm playing it with the effects and sound effects and all these texts popping up on screen, and it just plays perfectly fine. Now, I'm using a Dell XPS 9750, the 2018 version, I believe. And if I use Premiere Pro on the same laptop to do the same thing, the same video, and similar effects, my laptop crawls to a halt. Whereas in in Filmora X, it's really fast. There's never any issues. Another thing I would love to see in Filmora is the element sections. Wherever there's text, it would be nice to change stuff. Is it elements? Yeah. So stuff like this, where it says yeah or wow. It would be nice if I could change this text to what I wanted it to be. That would be quite good. Well, thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Please do like, subscribe, share. I'll always be doing stuff on software, hardware, anything tech related. I will be doing a video on it. Once I can get my hands on something, I'm going to do a video on it. All right. So thanks again for watching, and peace.